like under captain of the ship, yeah. And it's like a lotus, so it's time to flip the script, yeah. Cruising through the bay on that fucking red battleship, sold up, screaming out. So Buc what ya heard. So Buc what ya heard. So Buc what ya heard. So Buc what ya heard.
All right, welcome back to Buc What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buc What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And I'm joined by my co-host KB. How you been, man?
Oh, I've been fantastic.
Missed you last week, bro.
And you know, life happens.
You know, that's what I'm saying, man. Go out there and make that money, bro.
Oh, trust me, we have been.
So how's everything going?
Dude, fantastic. I mean, we're talking off camera about like different stuff going on, like, you know, stress, but like, you know, it leads to good things.
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, it really does. And, you know, you talk about stress. I mean, let's talk about our Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how stressed we were. You know, during the playoffs, you didn't know what was going to happen. And then this team goes out and they win the Super Bowl. So, are you still celebrating the whole Super Bowl thing, or, you know, kind of chilled out, or are you getting into free agency, or where we at with all this, man?
I'm kind of in the Samurai Ali boat. He's watched the Super Bowl like, you know, 15 times. He like posts every time he does. But with me, it's like every Saturday or like Sunday. It's like when I finally like relax and I kick my feet up and it's like, what do I want to watch? I want to watch the fucking Super Bowl.
You know what? For me, it's the New Orleans Saints. I keep going back to the New Orleans Saints game. I watch the New Orleans Saints game probably as many times as people have watched the Super Bowl personally. And you know what? At the end, you know what pops into my head? At the end of that game, when the Buccaneers win and that final shot goes off,
let's get fucked.
And that's what I'm thinking of our division rivals in the New Orleans Saints. So have you been following what's been going on with the NFC South?
Oh, for sure.
So what are your thoughts on the whole Teddy Bridgewater thing? I've got friends over at Carolina Cat Chronicles. You know, I'm friends with a lot of people in the podcast community because you've got some really cool people, really cool content out there. And they did a gangland beatdown on Teddy Bridgewater on yesterday's show. They just kind of went in on this guy. And I feel sorry for him, man. He's kind of been like disrespected, like on another level.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was one of them when I was at Peter Plank. I wrote about, you know, my number one like choice was Brady, but the number two was Teddy. And it turns out that apparently that was Bruce Arians and Jason Light's assessment of the quarterback position as well. And Teddy, you know, he's not flashy, but like if you put Teddy on this roster, I mean, we're probably not the Super Bowl winners, but we're probably winning a playoff game or two.
Yeah,
like, that's what Teddy is.
Yeah, I just don't feel like he had the weapons around him. I mean, when you if you look at his wide receivers, you look at the wide receiver room. If you take that wide receiver room and put him on another team in the NFL, are they successful?
Yeah, I mean, Robbie Anderson, I didn't think he was going to flash the way that he did this year, but he put together a complete season. DJ Moore actually had a down season. I'd probably equate it to kind of what Godwin did this year, you know, injuries, but like, you know, a couple more drops than what there normally are. And then Curtis Samuel just came out of nowhere to blow up the NFL, and he's going to get paid by someone somewhere. But there are issues where offensive line and defense related. I mean, they used all 7 of their draft picks on the defense. Like those are young guys doing things like, you know, and that's just hard to do in the modern NFL because your defense is going to give up a lot of points in general. But if you're young, if you're taking like Tom Brady against a defense like that, I mean, it usually doesn't end up too well because all it takes is a good quarterback with a good mind to pick apart your young defense.
Yeah, but eventually it's going to come around. I like Matt Rule. I like what they're doing there. I think that it might be scary if you know, you keep hearing the talk that they might end up with Deshaun Watson being there. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. Folks, and I am focused on the chat. I don't know. I'm gonna have KB help me out in the chat. Make sure that we're getting your responses and your questions and stuff like that. Want to make sure that we hear from you. I've been kind of failing at this just because there's just been so much going in the chat. Ben Parrish, I want to say what's up. Mr. Everything's Bucs. I'm a Bucs blocking tight end. I like that one. Bud Cannibalist, Will the Brewer, of course. And I'll make sure that I get you guys shouted out. You know, this is a great time to be a Bucs fan too, as Ben Parrish had mentioned. I mean, when you look at to where Tom Brady is, Tom Brady's not done. He's not done with not even close. And you know, Joshua Cole Allen of Bucs Report, shout out to Bucs Report, had some really interesting things to say about, you know, Tom Brady possibly making some changes, adjustments with his contract. And does that free up money to do other things? All I can say, folks, is for the people that are concerned and the people that are worried, Jason Light did quite a bit last offseason to get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a Super Bowl win. So to me, I'm more in the crowd that I'm going to sit back and see what Jason Light does, because all that really matters is what the finished product is going to look like on the field when the season starts, or actually when the season ends. So getting the right players in to help this team win. I know there are some hometown heroes and guys that really stepped up, but ultimately what Jason Light is going to do, he's going to get the best players that fit in the best way for this team. And, you know, some of it's going to come through the draft and some of it's going to come through free agency. So again, it's one of those things you just got to kind of, you know, take a step back and let's pay attention to, you know, what's going on here. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's so much that just has to go on in general in the NFL that has to go your way. And, you know, things have to take, like when we talk about the offseason this year and we talk about the draft, we can't talk about anything until we find out what's going on in these contract rooms. Yeah. Like, I mean, how much money, like Joshua Cole, like he tweeted out a couple weeks ago that he heard that the Bucs were going to restructure or add a year to Brady. We all figured probably at this point he played a 45. But, you know, move around a little bit of that money. But we can't even think about who the number 32 pick is going to be until we know if Shaq's back, if Sue's back, if Godwin's back. I mean, Gronk's probably coming back, but like, is Sue going to retire? Like, these are big questions.
Yeah. I mean, these guys got a taste of a quality winning team, a quality winning quarterback. And, you know, that just the whole organization just looks so much better when you've got another Super Bowl trophy right there for you, you know. So really exciting times, you know, when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, man. I mean, when we were talking to Trevor Sikkema at the beginning of this year, and he even said this before we even had the slow starts, but he was like, you know, 2021 is probably going to be the year. Like, you know, let them learn the offense, let them do this, let them do that. Like, it's going to be a process. We won the Super Bowl in the first year.
I know.
The first year, Gene.
How often does that happen?
Remember the Philadelphia Dream Team?
Yeah,
this doesn't happen. Like this, you can't just bring in free agents and then this just occur. But we had the basis there, and that's what Bruce Arians was saying in his press conferences recently, and the one that occurred earlier today with Jason Light is let's keep this defense together. That was our goal last year, and that's going to be our goal this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what else needs to happen? You know, I mean, I think that they've done a great job. The Buccaneers have done a great job, and you know, you just hope that they continue on this trajectory. I think they will. I have nothing but confidence. I mean, once we figured out what the salary cap was going to be like, then from there it's like, okay, let's see what they do. Let's see how what they put together in this offseason. And that's what makes this offseason a lot more exciting, is because, you know, you have a general manager who's shown, you know, working along with his head coach and coaches and scouting, that they can put together a quality team. And again, I think they can repeat. I mean, you've got your quarterback situation taken care of. Let's see what they do from here.
Yeah, and one thing that not a lot of people are pointing off, I mean, people are saying, oh, no, you don't want to become the Saints. Well, what the Saints did is they pushed that money off, and we're already finding out that the salary cap floor is $180 million. This entire season, everyone operated as if it was going to be 170 to 175. Well, it's already going to be higher than that, and the NFL is already talking about redoing their TV rights, which will double their revenue that they already had from TV rights.
Right.
reported by like Peter King and all these other people. That means you could see the cap jump up by an extra 10, 15, 20 million dollars in 2022.
Yeah.
So if you push back the money, it might still even out in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I'm talking about right here. I mean, when you look at the and I don't want to take anything away from that first Super Bowl run, but they were in salary cap hell. After it was all over, they were in salary cap hell, and there was just like nothing you could really do to help this team. I mean, you lost first round and second round picks, and when you've got an inept general manager and you've got a head coach, and I'm sorry, but he's not a good talent evaluator, especially with quarterback. That's why he needs a seasoned quarterback under him. He can't. Have you seen a quarterback that John Gruden has been able to develop from from beginning to end?
How about any quarterback? Rich Gannon, old when he got him. Brad Johnson, old when he got him.
Just helped this situation. I mean, you're not having to waste a lot of time. These guys are consummate professionals. They can go out there and play.
And they've seen it. That's the thing about these rookie quarterbacks and everyone. I mean, I just saw Mr. Everything Bucs say, let Blaine walk and draft another. If Tom Brady goes down, they don't want to throw out a 22-year-old. They want someone who can, who already knows the offense, and from what I hear about Blaine Gabbert, not just, in the building, but like, people have said, like, different reporters that during practice, he's like a practice god, apparently. Like, he's got all the physical traits. He's got the mental capabilities. He knows the offense. He just, was a draft bust.
His decision making is atrocious, though, man. I mean, from everything I've seen, when the rubber hits the road and it's that time, I honestly believe if he had it, he would be on a starting team.
Yeah, but think about it. Next year, would you rather have Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask as your backup? And also, you'd have to consider Kyle Trask because I'm not even going to throw Mac Jones in there. There's talks that Mac Jones might go top 15. So you're looking at QB4, QB5, QB6 of the class at 32. And I don't think, and especially if Brady's going to stay an extra year, I think you maybe think about that QB decision later down the line. I mean, you just have the guys like Drew Stanton. And
you almost have to get you almost have to look at free agency. Do you think that Blaine Gabbert is a good quarterback for backup? I mean, for a team that's making a Super Bowl run.
Would you rather pay him the vet min, or would you rather pay Marcus Mariota $7 million a year? That's what I mean. Those are your choices. Blaine Gabbert was here on the veteran min, and Ryan Griffin was making twice his salary last year.
Right.
People don't talk about that, and he was the number 3.
True.
And Drew Stanton is going to probably do the vet minimum too. He's even older. He's in his late 30s. Like, I mean, you have an older room established. Gabbert's been with BA for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. True.
So it's who do you want to start for 2 games? And I don't want to pay someone $7-8 mil to be a backup.
Yeah, this is true. You're spot on here. I'm a Bucs blocking tight end said NFL teams still don't know what the final salary cap number is going to be. All teams have to work with a minimum floor of 180 million. This is just a sticky situation right here. But the Bucs are better off than the kind of going back to what I was saying, the original Super Bowl run, because of the inept, general manager, head coach, and, not having those first round picks and missing on a lot of free agents and other picks as they've come in, didn't do this team any favors. I believe that Buccaneers team, had the salary cap been a little bit better, I think they could have at least challenged for another Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what people forget. Like, it's first and second round picks. Yeah, you're bringing in new talent to replenish older talent that might be moving on, but also they're cheap.
Yeah.
Even back, this is pre, Sam Bradford and Ndamukong Suh, like when they were making 60 and Gerald McCoy making $60-70 million guaranteed.
Right.
Now they're counting like, $6 million against, like, your number 1 overall pick is making, 30, 40, maybe,
yeah.
like,
absolutely.
and that's what you got to do is we have the resources now. Like, if hypothetically, let's say Sue leaves, you can use 32 to get a D tackle to replace him. Like, that's where you have to use these picks, and the Bucs, like you said, are very well set up to, replenish some talent, and go
And
for next year.
this is going to be the interesting thing right here, is to see what the Bucs do in free agency. I'm not just talking about our players. I think Bucs players are where you want to start. You want to make sure, just like last year was a successful free agency because you were able to bring back the majority of your defense minus Carl Nassib. So in my opinion, last year's free agency was a stunning success. Just being able to get all those guys back, and you're not missing a beat too much, kind of going into the season, other than, with the quarterback. And then I guess you did see some regression, but at the end of the day, when it came right down to it, we already know what they did. But I think you could do something like that again. If you can get your core back, players like Levante David, you've got Devin White, you've got Vita Vea, you've got JPP, which you got for a 3rd round pick, by the way. Just a lot of these different players. This is your core. You can easily plug some of these other players in and be successful. You don't have to have a superstar at every position. And I think that we live in a world where people feel like, oh, you got to have the best at this position. You got to have the best at this position. No, if a guy can go out and do his job, I think that a defense or an offense can do just fine.
Yeah, I mean, going off your last point, I mean, there's 2 different approaches I feel like you have to have. You have to have, a wealth and depth of talent, which is kind of what the Bucs have, or you can use like the Rams method, which is let's stud like 4 positions and just have people who can fill roles behind them. Well,
Right.
The Bucs, I mean, granted, yes, you have Brady and stuff, but for the most part, both offensively and defensively, there's a depth of talent 1 through 11 on each side of the ball.
And how long has it been since we've been able to say that? It's been well over 15 years. I would say 15 years at least.
Since 03 is what I would argue.
Since 03, yeah. That you've had depth on, in the trenches. We've always talked about, you got to get, you've got to build in the trenches. And the Bucs have not been able to do that. And when Jason Light came in 2014, it was really, really bad. Then you blow up the offensive line, which I don't want to talk about that. But again, to go from 2014 to where we are now and to build this team up, this is a true return on investment, what Jason Light was able to accomplish. And, he wasn't swayed by, fans or what fans thought that he should do, but he went out and drafted his way. He went out and got free agents his way. And working with the head coach, I think they've done a great job. And again, that's something you kind of look forward to this offseason, to see if a player does happen to walk, you may be able to get somebody else to come in there and do just as good, if not better.
For sure. I mean, and we learned today from Jason Light, speaking of the trenches, Ryan Jensen and Donovan Smith are not going anywhere, at least for this year. He didn't discuss extensions or because, I mean, they're on their 1-year deal, so it'd have to be an extension for them. So, if they want to finagle with the cap numbers, they can extend them. But they're both going to be your center and left tackle this season. So your starting offensive line is going to be intact. And only question mark on the defensive line is Sue, and then a couple backups like McClendon and Nacho, for instance.
Yeah. And
that's perfect.
Yeah, and that's just amazing. I mean, Ryan Jensen, to me, is the heart and soul of that offensive line. I just don't know of I've been like racking my brain because somebody asked me about this on Twitter. Who have we had on an offensive line that we can compare to some of these guys like a Ryan Jensen? Who have the Bucs ever had on the offensive line that's that nasty, that plays a little bit past the whistle, maybe just a little bit? And
I think Donald Penn in his prime, maybe.
You know what? But I don't think Donald Penn.
No, but he wasn't nasty. He just played hard.
Penn didn't get nasty till he went. Yeah, he was athletic. Donald Penn didn't get nasty till he went to Oakland.
True. Yeah,
and then he
maybe
became a straight up savage out there. I don't know if it's the black hole or what it is there in
Oakland. They have the attitude. That's for sure.
They really do.
Pre-Gruden.
But I'm telling you what, they're nasty down there, man. And you watch him play, and he's a guy that he just elevated his game when he got to Oakland.
Well, and he's great for guys like Ali Marpet and Tristan Wirfs, who are very soft, and even Donald almost said Penn, Donovan Smith, like they're very soft-spoken individuals. Like, they're nasty. They play hard. Well, Donovan sometimes doesn't play to the whistle, but Tristan does.
Yeah.
And having that attitude around you, and we saw Brady like eats it up when Jensen goes after defensive linemen. Like, it's hilarious. He just laughs and he's like, "Thanks for 15, bud."
Yeah, there you go. And I've seen, because I like watching Jensen after the whistle, and he'll just walk through a pile. Some guys will be like, there's a group of guys on an opposing team. He'll just walk right through the middle of them, just going back to the huddle. Just little jerk stuff like that, I would be pissed off if he did that and he was on another team. But the fact that he's, a Buccaneer, I'm okay with it.
I 100% agree. He's that. See, as someone who's not like in terms of mentality on the offensive line, I was always in like a Tristan Wirfs mindset. Like, if you ever had me in an interview, I'd always be like ultra nice. But then like the kind of switch turn. But like I can't even imagine being next to someone like Ryan. Like, that shit has to like rub off on you eventually.
You're just out there. You're just agitating defensive tackles. What do you think, Cam Jordan? Cam Jordan probably is not looking forward to seeing Tristan Wirfs next year.
Yo, Sean Payton, can I move to the other side?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who I called out.
Yeah. And even he elevated his game. I mean, he truly elevated. I know a lot of people still don't like him. He's earned my respect.
Playoff Lenny? Fuck, give me playoff Donovan. Fuck.
Yeah, playoff Donovan, man. Mashing folks when they were running the ball.
And when we pull lineman, Gene, I think we're the best line in the NFL. When we run power, when we just run it down, not that dive shit up the middle. I mean, like when we think of Ali Marpet pulling in the Super Bowl on the Fournette run, and even against your Saints. Like, whenever we ran power, Saints couldn't stop it. No one can stop it.
Yeah,
run power always.
This is true. All right, Clay Lynch, Buckaholics, Louisiana. Shout out to the Buckaholics. If you're not in the Tampa Bay area, if you're not in the Bay Area, or in Florida, there's a chapter for you out there. Trust me. And just if you're on Facebook, just go and look up Buckaholics and definitely link up with them. And the cool thing about it, there's always some Buckaholic in the chat somewhere in here. So you guys are greatly appreciated. I can't wait to hang out with you guys in Los Angeles next year. It's going to be fun. Trust and believe.
Yeah, Clay, take over Bourbon Street for me, man.
There you go.
Fuck the Saints.
Yep, that's pretty much what it is. That's exactly what I feel too.
Hey, the bitch, get fucked.
I figured out that the NO means no money.
Exactly. They broke. Yeah, I'm a Bucs blocking tight end. Was talking about, we had a guy, Donald Penn. Mr. Everything Bucs was talking about Jeff Saturday and Jeremy Trueblood.
But Trueblood wasn't good though.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. I mean, he wasn't
good. Let's be real. He's that guy on like Madden who had like 100 run block rate, but like 50 pass block.
But I think he worked well with that offensive line, because I mean, they had Davin Joseph, Jeremy Trueblood, Donald Penn, and I'm trying to remember.
Rotating, probably like Jeremy Zuta, but that might have been a year or two later.
Yeah, and what they had was a team. They worked well as a cohesive unit. So it wasn't like individual. Like, you look at Ali Marpet. Ali Marpet was out at Kansas City game, and he was sorely missed. I mean, when he was out with a concussion, and you saw a difference in that offensive line, you could actually feel and tell. Just because of how everything went. And then you have a player like Stenny that comes in for Alex Kappa, and they're able to just go in and still, that just shows you the depth that they had in certain positions. So yeah, I think Jeremy Trueblood, because I think he ended up going to Atlanta.
He went somewhere and flamed out. He didn't last too long after the Bucs.
Yeah,
I think it was Trueblood, or excuse me, I think it was Atlanta.
Yeah, I think he went to Atlanta, and no, it wasn't good. So, yeah, I mean, again, I think that Ryan Jensen is a unique player, and the Bucs were very fortunate to get him. I know a lot of people were saying in Twitter land that the Bucs overpaid for him, and I'm like, I don't know where this comes from, but no, I don't think the Bucs overpaid for him. So, again, it's one of those things. So I'm looking through the chat here. As Frank G says, we can't sign every free agent out there. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I'm taking the more of the watch and see approach. And hey, let's see what happens. Let's see
just keep everybody and give me James White. That's all I ask.
There you go. So do you let playoff Lenny go and you bring in a James White? Or
fuck yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love playoff Lenny. But like, can we just roll back 2-3 years ago when James White won Super Bowl MVP with Tom Brady? Catching passes?
Has he been healthy, since, for the most part?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to think of the Patriots running back room, and Bill loves having 4 or 5 running backs. They had a first-round pick in Sony Michel. They have Rex Burkhead. They have James White. They have I forgot the guy's name who took over for Michel when he got injured. But they had 5 different guys, and then Cam took away their passing game to running backs. There was just so much going on last year. But with Brady, White, I mean, to all you fantasy football fans, White and PPR, I mean, is must play.
Yeah.
With the Bucs, he's must play.
Do you think that he would end up you think is a possibility he could end up in Tampa?
Him or Burkhead, I would honestly put money on it.
Really?
And you know me, I don't put money on sports. I would put money on one of Rex Burkhead or White being in Tampa.
Well, you know what? That sounds like a good question right there. That sounds like a good buy or sell question, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Yeah, we can make that work. We need to work that in before free agency really gets warmed up. So, guys, I want to take a moment to shout out Smack Apparel. If you'll notice, you'll see the 22 years up there. You see, I always be rolling with them. Smack Apparel has been giving away the T-shirts. I don't know. Have you guys seen the Antoine Winfield Jr. Beat Down in the Bay T-shirts? If you haven't, shout it out in the chat if you haven't. I'll actually get the page up here in just a little bit. But we gave away 2 T-shirts last week, and if you're following me on Twitter, they gave away 2 T-shirts this week. So hopefully we're going to do the contest next week, where we'll have 10 questions, 60 seconds. KB will give 5 questions. I'll give up the other 5, put them together, and see if somebody can win a free T-shirt next week. But I'm happy that people are, just getting involved in this. Smack Apparel is, of course, it is in Tampa, and it's somebody that I've always remembered Smack Apparel since I'm going back to the first Super Bowl.
Show them the shirt, Gene. Yeah, show it to him. He showed it to me pre-show. It was beautiful.
So I got to show you, and I'm sorry, I may be aging myself here. This is one of the original Smack Apparel shirts right here. And you can see the Smack Apparel logo down there. Let's see if I can
see. I'm at the point, I remember Chucky Gruden, but I don't remember any apparel of Chucky Gruden.
Yeah, Smack Apparel was doing their thing. So I've been with Smack Apparel for a minute, and so now all I'm missing is that Bruce Arians stuff. So I've got the Chucky shirt from that Super Bowl, and now I just need that Bruce Arians. As soon as I get that Bruce Arians shirt, I'll have the whole set. The bookends will be complete.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the orange Bruce Arians shirt, but it's not Super Bowl themed, at least as of yet.
Yeah, not yet, but I'm sure that's on the way. And Ben Parrish, we run the South now. Yep. You know what?
Okay, can we talk about this for 10 seconds? I just want to say one thing for 10 seconds.
Yep, and I'm gonna follow up with what you had to say.
Have you seen on Twitter they're counting NFC South championships as if it means something?
They have to. What else do they have? You've got the Minnesota Miracle. You've got the Rams interception. Buccaneer beat down. No.
But that's the thing. Who brags? Oh yeah, we won 4 NFC South championships. Yeah.
Well, if that's all you have, I mean, when you look at this team,
put up the billboard, Sammer. Put it up.
Yeah, it really needs to go up. It really does. Before, in the beginning, I was kind of indifferent. Yeah, Sammer's my dude. Shout out to Loose Cannons, my dudes. But I was like, okay, that's cool. You do that. I mean, you've earned the right to do that. And if Saints fans are mad Maybe their team should have stopped the Buccaneers from beating them down in their house and sending their quarterback into retirement. Maybe you should go that direction with it. But, again, if they do it, I'm good with it. I would go to New Orleans just to take a picture of that billboard, just to take a picture.
Oh, hell yeah,
man.
Petty
like that.
And then, in case you didn't hear, Jameis Winston, I guess, is the new savior, which, don't get me wrong, like, if they want to keep Jameis, like, great, but like, why would Jameis has to stay for a veteran min? Why would he not get paid $5? If Marcus Mariota is making $7 million, why can't Jameis somewhere?
Well, there you go, man. That's what it's all about.
But that's what Saints fans have come to. It's Jameis Winston's now going to take us to the Super Bowl, and I'm like,
but they were calling
look at our roster, but good luck with that.
They were calling him crab legs, and they said he couldn't see. And
now they love him.
Trust me, I've got all the Saints receipts back here too. So when I hear people start bragging about him, I've got the receipts. Trust me.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come up, I'm sure. Nestor Cervantes, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. We like doing what we do. Frank G asked an interesting question to you, KB. Can you explain a bit zone blocking and man blocking on the O-line?
All right, zone blocking. The best way to think about it is you can never be wrong. So think of, you got your 5 starting linemen. If you're running a zone run to the right, your lineman step 99.99% of the time, their first step is to their right. Yeah. And what you're going to do is you don't have true double teams in zone. So if, let's say, there's a 3 technique in between the guard and the tackle. The guard is, because it's a 3 technique, it's on his outside right shoulder. So he's going to press up. The right tackle is going to push him into the guard, into his gap, and he's going to go up to the linebacker. Or if there's an end, get the end and kick him out. But for the most part, that's pretty much a zone scheme. A man scheme, or in this case, like power, is that what the other one? Yeah, man blocking scheme. Think of it like power. So power, you're assigned to a man. So let's say the center and guard have a 0 technique, which is right in front of the center. And you're running it to the right side. Let's just keep it simple. So the right guard and the center are going to press up, and the right guard is technically going to help out. He's going to give him a hand, but he's not going to fully push him like a zone scheme would. He's going to give him a hand to help, push him upfield, and he's going to go straight to his man, which is the linebacker, generally the Mike, who's going to be right there in front of him.
That's when you're getting over to the next level. You're going to the next level.
Yeah, and then there's a guard in this instance. Let's say the left guard is the one who's pulling, and the left tackle and right tackle are guarding the people, the ends that are right there on him. And then there's going to be an unblocked backer who's unaccounted for, and that's who the lineman is pulling to go shoot up the hole and get the backer. Typically, let's say if it's a run to the right, let's say there's a backer to the right. The right guard has the middle linebacker, and then the left guard pulling will get the right linebacker. So that's kind of, high level difference between a man and the zone scheme.
And the cool thing is, if you look at their feet, if you look at an offensive lineman's feet on the edges, you get a really good idea of what's getting ready to happen. And I know that, like, especially defensive linemen, when they do film study, they look at somebody's feet. How are your feet set? Even though you're in your stance, look at where the feet are, because a lot of times that's a telltale sign of if this is a man or is this a zone blocking scheme.
Yeah, for sure. No, and then you can tell a lot of things just on, how, even just weight distribution, a lot. This is very high level. Think of, Pee-wee or high school. If a lineman is pushing all of his weight forward in his stance, it usually means run. And you even see it a lot of times in college now, tackles don't even put their hand in the dirt. They're in 2-point stance. They have their hands on their knees and they're just kicking because, they're just running. The defense is running something basic, the offensive scheme's basic. The quarterback's just gonna get the ball out of his hands in 5 seconds. Why even bother putting your hand in the dirt? So that's why I love the NFL.
Just telltale signs right there.
Yeah, the NFL is all about picking apart all these nitty gritty, small differences in the game, and then college is, there's a lot of stuff, and people love college because there's a lot of scoring, there's a lot of the talent distribution. That's why the one thing I don't like about college is when Alabama, shout out, T. Smitty, plays Academy of the Holy Blind, Division 1 AA. No offense to me being a 1 AA athlete, but sometimes it's just not fair.
Yeah.
And then the point spread's 50 points, and you're like, come on now.
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
why can't we play like schedules this year where the SEC, I don't know, play the entire SEC? Like, that's fun. I
Yeah.
had probably the best time watching college football this past year than I probably ever have.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun. Unfortunately, they were doing it out of necessity, but but the game was a lot more fun. It was a lot more basic, and it was a lot more competitive.
For sure. And then we saw that. I mean, Ohio State basically got in on a technicality, like, but there's different, like Clemson had to beat the ACC.
Yeah.
Alabama had to beat Florida. Like, granted, they're in the same division, but like, if they had to play like Georgia and all these other teams that like sometimes they don't play, which to me is kind of messed up. Like the top schools maybe play 4 tough games a year out of 11.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be how it is. It's all about money.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it does help these small schools because these small schools can say, "Hey, we played Alabama," and say we won.
They get paid for it. Let me tell you.
Off. Yeah, absolutely. Rob G asks an interesting question here, and we'll get to this.
You're killing me with this one.
I know, man. This probably.
Can I take Paul and Barrett out because they're not true linebackers?
Yeah, they're totally different schemes too. It's
you know what I'm gonna say though? I'm gonna say White and David. I can't believe I'm gonna say that. Because I think Brooks has the edge over David, but David, in terms of statistics and a lot of different measures, really isn't too far off of Brooks for me to be like, whoa, hold the phone. Whereas, don't get me wrong, Quarles was a great player. Singleton did great. But White, for his faults, still, dude's a fucking animal.
And he's only his second year.
Second year, like.
And think about this too. The way the game was played then versus the way it's played now.
It's so much harder.
Yeah. Because you can't touch a wide receiver. A wide receiver can run. They can run up the middle. I mean, you could run a pass play in the middle of you do a run a drag route, and a player 9 times out of 10 is not going to get lit up. They're
vicious. Just saying that play against the Eagles, John Gruden ran those plays, those mesh routes, like every game, always.
So I don't want to sound like a cop out, but because you have 2 different eras, it's kind of
it is a cop out. But I'm saying like,
oh come on, man.
No, it is different areas. But I'm saying is I don't think David is too far off of what Brooks did. Brooks is a better player, did more. I'm not arguing that. But I'm saying, is the gap from David to Brooks as big as White to Quarles or Singleton?
I would take and this is the thing with Brooks, and I don't know if this is just kind of, they had different strengths, like turnovers. You look at Levante David, you better be holding on to the ball with all of your life.
Ask Jared Cook twice this year.
When it comes to Levante David, whereas pass coverage and in just like straight up laying the wood, Derek Brooks. I mean, ask Michael Vick about Derek Brooks.
Imagine when we start letting Devin White spy quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, you give one and you take one when it comes to those guys.
Yeah.
And again, just the era and the schemes were different, and it's just kind of hard for me to say. I mean, how would Brooks fare in a 3-4?
Oh, I think he'd be better.
You know,
I mean, just give him someone who can just do, and kind of what he did is as a weak side linebacker. I think it's a very similar transition to what Levante David had. Is you have like a Mike linebacker who's absorbing a lot of the blocks, whereas the weak side linebacker, or in this case, we're going to call it, the Buc or the second Mike, is basically running free, which is kind of what the will linebacker is, which is what they both did and why they're both six. I think Brooks would have been just as good, if not better, in a 3-4 system. We've seen Levante David do just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's just one of those things. I don't know. This question right here, I had to screenshot that question.
That's a good one.
Because
I think we should revisit that.
We're gonna revisit this. This was an amazing question, Rob G. Thank you for this. And give me a second. My screenshotter didn't work. So let me try this. because I got to screenshot this because I am going to research this and I'm going to come up with an answer. I'm not going to cop out on this.
Yeah, let's research this. I'm down.
All right, and I'll shoot you this here in just a second.
Cool.
But yeah, so we're gonna kind of move on from that there. And Carl Hardy, that's so funny. He said, "Let's count NFC South Super Bowls."
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I was trolling Saints fans today on Twitter, telling them 20 billboards are going up.
I saw that.
This is This is triggering people. This is genuinely triggering people, and I'm like, when the thing is, when Cam Jordan was talking all that trash, I was like, all the Bucs got to do is go out and beat him, and it'll shut him the hell up. But that works the other way too.
Oh, and Tom Brady, did you see his post?
I have not seen it.
Oh, he kept the receipts, man. He basically had a video on his Twitter after we won. That was basically
I saw that.
And Cam Jordan was like the first person on that, saying like, get like the walker out or whatever it was during the first Saints game.
Marshawn Lattimore is on Twitter already talking about going to the
Cleveland Browns, which I think is actually a good fit for him. I think him and Denzel Ward would be nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, didn't he just re-sign with the Saints, or am I crazy?
I'm not sure. Let's look. Go ahead and look that one up.
I got you.
Will the Brewer, I need to get a beat down shirt. Bro, call in. You got to call in, bro. I got you covered, Will. Andy Finley from Scotland. What is going on, my friend? Everything is going well, man. How's the weather in Bonnie, Scotland? Let's see.
Probably cold.
Yeah.
Sorry for you.
But you know what? I love it there. It's so crazy.
Oh, he's got $10 million with the Saints this year, Lattimore. So he's probably thinking trade, or maybe he's a cut casualty.
I think he'll be a cap casualty.
That's crazy. If I'm the Browns, I'm giving them something just to make sure I have.
Yeah, considering how atrocious he played throughout the middle of the season, and they actually thought about benching his ass. I mean, I don't know. Here we go. So you have to have Cato June in that formation.
How about I forgot about Cato June ever existed?
I did too, man. Message. You know what? I've actually got a game ticket with Cato June on it. I'm gonna drag that.
That tells you we had some issues of Cato June's on.
Bro, that was like the last year I had season tickets, was because I was like looking at his ticket and I'm like, wait a minute. Cato June? I got a Cato June ticket here. Oh man. Oh, the things I have. Yeah, I was kind of going through my stuff and I saw, a couple of Bucs tickets and I was looking at one and I was like, damn, that is Cato June. Okay.
You know what? One former player, just random thought that I didn't think was good. And then I actually looked at his stats one day. He's a Tampa attorney now, but Brad Culpepper.
Oh, Pep.
He's fucking good.
Pep was good.
I thought he was a gimmick, because he was an attorney and he was a little bit before I watched the Bucs, religiously. But man, he was putting up 15 sack a year numbers before sack.
Pep was good, man. He was our big free agent from the Colts when they won the Super Bowl that year.
Well, good for him then.
Yeah, he got his ring and moved on to money. And I'm telling you, man, most guys that go out chasing money after Super Bowl don't fare that well. How many guys have genuinely been successful?
Not many, man. And that's why you see guys like Brady just taking less and less.
Yeah, and you think about this, you've got cohesion. You're in the free agency era. It's hard as hell to keep a team together. And that's another thing that makes Brady so amazing. In the free agency era, Brady's been to 10 Super Bowls. And you won't see the same wide receivers. You won't see the same offensive linemen. You won't see the same defensive players. I mean, he's rotated through his career. He's rotated through so many different players. And you don't think about that. You think about Tom Brady. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are the main constants when you look at this. I mean, and then you look back through some of the players that have played for the Patriots that have come through. Randy Moss, what did Ty Law played for the Ty Law was there. Teddy, give me a brewski. Yeah. LeGarrette Blunt. Yeah. Just you've got all these different guys that have just rotated. Aqib freaking Talib was there too. Thank you. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know I'm behaving myself, throwing the key back. Sorry, but
that's 2-time Super Bowl champion Aqib Talib to use.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yes, it is. Yes,
he won in Denver.
Yeah, he sure did. He was a gun for hire. But again, that just shows you what they were able to do. And not a lot of draft picks, but you had players that just kind of came through and they cycled through, they did good and they moved on, chased their money elsewhere. And that's kind of what they've done. So
yeah, I think it's just hard with, like you said, the free agency model, because if you do win or you get there, your players want to get paid for it or they're going to get paid elsewhere. So you think about the Joe Flacco with the Ravens, that basically killed them as a franchise for so long. And then like Seattle, you had to don't get me wrong, Bobby Wagner, not as good as Devontae David, but a damn good player. You had to, keep Richard Sherman. You had to keep Earl Thomas. You had to keep Cam Chancellor. You had to keep all of these players that, and then eventually when you tried to replace them, it didn't work. If you're not a good franchise and you don't draft well, you're not going to make it back there.
That's the truth. And I think, the Bucs are fortunate that they have Bruce Arians and Jason Light on the same page and they work well together. And he's able to go out and get what he needs. And they've got good talent evaluators in there now. So definitely exciting about that.
And we have this little man named Mike Greenberg, which I guess I didn't know this till I listened to the Adam Schefter podcast with Light and Greenberg. But Greenberg actually grew up in the same town as Schefter, went to the same college as Schefter. Really? And apparently, his brother-in-law is really good friends with Schefter. It was an interesting story.
Yeah, crazy. You know what? I was getting ready to announce the winners of this T-shirt contest, and we totally segued off somewhere else. So sorry. That's just how this show goes. There's so many inroads, outroads, other roads, over the road. We go all over the place. So it's kind of what we do. Hey, Michael Pless, what's going on? Michael Pless from Real Bucs Talk.
Former co-host Michael.
Please check out his show. He's right now he's breaking down draft picks, and it's exciting. This is my favorite time, and not to exploit him or anything, but it's my favorite time to follow him, especially on during the draft season, because this guy is prepared, and he doesn't just look at the Bucs. He looks at all 32. And the cool thing is he's hit on a lot of draft picks that they either should have got or could have gotten.
Yeah, and I love and hate them for their breakdown of Joe Tyrion from Washington, or Tyron, however you say it. That was my guy, kind of because I'm a big fan, if we're ever going to talk about draft stuff, of even if you keep Shaq Barrett, what was the best successor defense had is when they had pressure. So why wouldn't you want to have Anthony Nelson play the JPP role as a backup, let Tyrion, who is a Shaq Barrett profile pass rusher, because we saw Shaq Barrett and JPP played a lot of snaps this year.
Yeah, they did.
JPP had surgery this morning on his knee, and he's old. He's still somehow kicking it and playing at a high level.
Robot or something, man. He's like the Terminator, because every time something catastrophic happens to him, he just comes back stronger. I don't understand. Yeah. I can't figure it out.
But that's my point. If we had a rotation where they actually could stay fresh, because now we can expect to be in the playoffs, Gene. If Brady, Lord willing, Brady's healthy.
Yeah. Cross your fingers. There you go. Mr. Everything Bucs, how do you feel about Deshaun Jackson talking about he wants to come back to Tampa? No. I get what you're saying. He would probably only be good for maybe one game, maybe, or maybe two at the most.
No, that's too much.
If we're talking plays, we would have to scale that back to maybe 3 plays for the season, maybe.
I'll do you one better, Gene. Do you know when we traded Deshaun Jackson to Philly, who we got with that draft pick?
Was it not Scotty Miller?
Scotty fucking Miller.
That's right. That is true. So I think it worked out well for us. I think
I'll take Scotty. We're good. Gucci.
Yeah, we're good. Unfortunately, no. Number one, he can't stay healthy, and I think he's a lazy route runner.
Well, and he's a cancer to the locker room. I mean, granted.
Yeah, I see that where he like subliminally or whatever you want to say. He's
a me guy. It's not that that's a bad thing, but he's a me guy.
Yeah, But again, when I look at him and I watch him consistently, you can tell he can blow up a play because you could tell when he's not getting the ball some of the time. I watched him when he was healthy with the Eagles this year, and this guy, you can tell he's not getting the ball. You could tell where the ball's going, and it's not going to him just by how he runs his routes. And to me, that's just frustrating because you're supposed to sell that. Mike Evans, oddly enough, used to do that in the beginning, but now Mike Evans is a guy, he sells that now. And you can't tell if he's not getting the ball or not because he's now this consummate professional. And I like the fact that the players around him, have done nothing but made him better. I mean, Tom Brady's made him a better route runner as well. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, Djax is just, if you take Chris Baker away from the situation, because I thought I guess cancer is the wrong word for Djax.
Yeah.
Chris Baker was the cancer.
Yeah.
But if you take him off the roster, I feel like Deshaun Jackson was like the second worst person on the roster in terms of attitude.
It was, yeah. And you could tell there were times where he would
forgot about Brent Grimes. Oh
yeah. Yeah. We forgot about Brent.
You don't pay me enough to cover the number one receiver. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So
God,
yeah, I had forgot about that until you just painfully brought that back up. But you know what's interesting? I'm gonna make a positive out of this. Look where we've come.
I was thinking that as you said it.
We're gonna turn this into a positive right here. You go from Brent Grimes to a Super Bowl winning secondary. I mean, I just wonder what Carl Nassib was doing when all this was going on. Took that big contract, and he went to the NFC West or the AFC West, where
to be a backup.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm sure this is a valuable lesson for him. It kind of like I really felt bad for Warrick Dunn, kind of like same thing with Warrick Dunn when Warrick Dunn and he went to Atlanta of all teams, but. Then he came back.
Well, remember they had a cool little three little monster down there in Atlanta with Vic, was it Duckett, TJ Duckett?
TJ Duckett,
Duckett and Dunn. Yeah, I mean that was fun. I mean, yeah, I wish he was on the Bucs though, just for the Super Bowl. It's weird to think that Mike Pittman was our running back for our Super Bowl year. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Mike Pittman wasn't good. I like Pittman as a guy.
He was decent. He was decent. I mean, I don't want to say he wasn't good. He got it done. He got done what he needed to get done.
Yeah.
And let's see, who would we, maybe Ernest Graham, maybe? No, not Ernest Graham.
I would say he's probably a little bit better than Ernest Graham.
He's a little bit better than Ernest Graham. Maybe, no. Where would I put him? Because of the way he has there's just a way that he runs the ball.
I think there's Wilder, Dunn, then a 50 feet crap. Then you got about, Pittman, Graham,
because
probably kind of where Rojo is kind of right now.
Yeah, and I would have taken a healthy Pontiac Williams over him as well, over Pittman.
I forgot about Caddy. Yeah, let's forget about his last 3 years.
Let's just talk about when he was healthy. There was nobody better than Pontiac Williams out there running the ball. That's just what he did.
Dude, that's why I got his jersey, man. I fucking love Caddy.
Yeah, he was that guy.
And we were good. That was he set the rookie rushing record that year, and we made the playoffs for the last time, I believe, was that year.
How do you guys feel about Odell Beckham Jr. rumors? No. Here's another guy. No,
that's not to you guys. That's to OBJ because he floated, and it's not even OBJ's fault. There was that one guy, the Darlington from ESPN, he got a quote from 2018, y'all. He took a quote from 2018 where OBJ, before he got traded to the Browns, saying, that it would be cool to play with Tom Brady. That's the basis of that rumor.
Yeah. And again, you guys, you have to take some of this journalism with a grain of salt and kind of do your research and see where some of these things are stemming from. So
stick local. Don't watch ESPN, especially this time of year. This is lying season.
They're all about narratives, and they're just trying to get views in right now because this is a slow time of the year for the NFL. So definitely, I would try to avoid them. But for me, Odell Beckham Jr. Is still living off of that 2015 one-handed catch, and I think that's just. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him, but no, I look at the quality wide receivers that you have here, and let's just see what Jason Light does here to get these players re-signed and who he keeps, and then let's see what happens in free agency. That's even before we get to the draft. I love talking about the draft. And I'm a lot more invested in the draft this year. Unlike last year where everybody knows I was pouting because Jameis Winston threw a pick six and ended the game losing to the Atlanta Falcons. And I was upset the whole offseason. I was low-key disrespectful, upset. And then I'm feeling good now. I feel happy. And so,
dude, that's just all that matters, man.
That's all that matters right now. That's just
we're the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Oh, Aaron Stecker. I forgot about Aaron Stecker.
He wasn't good, though. I would take Ernest Graham over Aaron Stecker any day of the week.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Aaron Stecker, too.
I like his name.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Pless is a Carnell Williams guy, too.
Dude, and so good, man.
Yeah, he was until he got injured. Oh man, it was catastrophic. Carolina Panthers too.
It was I remember the helicopter.
I was so mad. I mean, I hated Carolina. I don't wish injury on nobody, but I just wish that like their stadium would have just fallen apart or something when they did that to my guy. I was just that mad. But again, it is what it is. That's just part of Bucs history. It's cool to kind of reminisce about some of these players. And it's interesting. I like these names that are coming up here. TJ Duckett, Plus is talking about TJ Duckett and Aaron Stecker. Mr. Everything's Buck says Pittman and Doug Martin were the same player. Interesting. I'm going to have to go back and read.
Oh, I forgot about Dougie.
Yeah.
Dougie's about like, let's take 2. I mean, if we're going to take 2 years of Caddy, we have to take 2 years of Dougie.
Okay. So I think I probably would still go with Caddy.
I'd take Caddy too, but I think remember when I said 50 feet of crap? I'd put Doug Martin right before the 50 feet of crap.
Yeah, me too. And this was pre-injury. And we're talking pre-catastrophic injury.
Yeah.
After that injury at Carolina, he was never the same.
Clifton Smith. Dub just said Clifton Smith. I haven't thought of that name in like 15 years.
The punt returner. The guy that ran one back.
He was the guy I played in Madden just because he had speed. That was it.
Dang, we're just digging up some names from the past here.
Yo, we got to do this one episode. Let's like have like an offense or defense, just like talk about like reminisce about like some old time players that like.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Anthony Sellers, awesome. My guy Anthony Sellers from Browns in Your Blood, the Cleveland Browns podcast. Really great guy, friend of the show. Thank you so much for checking us out, man.
Also, go Browns, man. I want y'all to do well.
Yeah, I really wanted Cleveland to beat Kansas City because they're
so nice.
That would have really made me feel good. So it would humble those jackasses, all of them, because they were out of control.
The Browns just remind me of the Rays just in general, and I love their new leadership, and I love. I mean, I don't like Baker. If we're gonna get personal here, but like everything else about the team, other than Baker and Odell, like I'm all for.
Yeah,
I just wish Joe Thomas was still playing for him.
You know what made me happy about the Browns this year was when Odell went down. That team got better.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say, which is why I don't want Odell here.
Yeah.
I think we got the best receiver in that draft anyway. Shout out, Mike.
There you go. And I don't know. just kind of how I looked at it. I mean, I always root for Cleveland. I was watching, if I'm watching a game, I mean, I want to see them do good. I want to see them win. I mean, this is a fan base that's been loyal. They've been loyal for forever. And, they just keep coming up short. And, that's their team. I would love to see them win it all.
But they're like us. They have the infrastructure there. They have some money, and they'll have more money if hopefully they move on from Odell and maybe even Jarvis. Like, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they still have to go through Kansas City, though. That's the issue, though. And the Bills, too. Like,
now,
that's just tough.
I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but Kansas City's not coming out of the AFC this upcoming year. They're not.
I would say next year is probably, I think, the last year before they start, dropping
their window closed this year. I think when you look at how the Bucs handled Tyreek Hill, that's a blueprint right there. And I swear to you, every defensive coordinator is looking at that and trying to figure out a way to do the same thing. But
the only difference is 95% of the teams don't have the defensive personnel that the Bucs do.
Exactly.
Or Todd Bowles, because Todd Bowles, let's not forget, he only blitzed like 5% of the time during the Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
That's very unlike Todd Bowles. He's usually a 40 to 50% guy.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, but I honestly believe that if Buffalo's missing a few pieces, Buffalo is a team that's going to give a lot of teams fits this year coming up. I think they're bringing almost everybody back. And Cleveland is another team. Cleveland's going to be looking good this year. AFC is going to be wide open. I don't think Kansas City's the front runner like a lot of people think they are. Personally.
Well, according to ESPN, our favorite, let's call them FSPN, fake sports news network, said that we're the fourth best odds to get to the Super Bowl. Kansas City's number one. So that's just going to leave it at that. I think that's wrong.
I'm good with that. Let them think that. Just like nobody talked about the Buccaneers. Nobody talked about the Buccaneers defense in the playoffs, period. So,
the only people who ever did, shout out Jake Arians and his podcast. They do a fantasy podcast. It's Jamie Eisner and Paige DeMacos, who's now the CEO of the Draft Network. That
network, yeah.
They were saying this entire offseason, the Bucs are the number one defense for the last 8 games of the year last year. Pick them on defense. They're going to be the best defense this year. And granted, we had the little flutter in there, but if you take away that little flutter, just take it out. When they weren't even that bad, they slipped from number 1 to like 4.
They didn't have Vita Vea. That's what's so crazy about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Pless brings up Thomas Jones. I forgot Thomas Jones was a Buccaneer.
I thought he was for like the Packers or the Bengals.
No, Thomas Jones was a Buccaneer.
Oh, no, wasn't he for the Jets? He played for the Jets.
Yeah, because he played for the Jets, and I think he played for the Bears.
When the fuck did he play in Tampa?
What year was he in? Hold on.
2003.
2003, Thomas Jones.
Yeah, he went Arizona, Tampa, Chicago, Jets, and then finished off his career in KC.
That's right. I remember he did play in KC. That's right. Yep. Pittman did have nice hands. He really did.
Big biceps.
Yeah, he did. I saw him at International Mall one time, and he had this hat on, and he had his, cut off shirt, and all you could see was his arms and this little bitty bag. If I were holding
him, I would show him off.
If I had this bag, it would have been like this, but he had the bag up against his arms and looked like a little bitty bag down here because his arms were just like bowling balls, man. The guy was just incredible.
Speaking of Pittman, did you see what his son did in Indy? He said, Carson Wentz, no number 11 for you, sir. And I said, good job. Thank you.
That's right.
For sticking up for yourself, Pittman.
He ain't earned nothing.
He ain't no Tom Brady.
Yep.
Don't give him a number.
He might be a Blaine Gabbert. Maybe.
Not wrong there.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how this all rolls out. All right. I do want to get this done. And I'm sorry.
Put it off another 15 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I stink.
I'm sorry. We just keep rolling off the wrong side of the tracks here. We're focused now. We are focused. And again, I do want to shout out Smack Apparel. For those of you just joining us, I had to show this off again because this is just amazing.
Look at that.
This is
Chucky's Gulf Coast Attack. Let's go.
That's the original Smack right there. That was the Smack talk right there. And that was, they won a Super Bowl. Right here you go. There you go, right there. And now Smack Apparel, as soon as I get that Bruce Arians, I have the complete set. But I do want to shout out some people because we had a contest on Smack Apparel, and I think you were in on this as well. Basically, if you follow Smack Apparel, follow myself on Twitter, we would go through and look at everybody that followed and make sure that they did retweet or have the Smack Apparel tweet up and pick somebody to win a free t-shirt. So we had two. So the first person is Beer 30, Crazy Blue fan. Shout out to you. That's incredible. Here's a Bucs fan living in Kansas City. I want him to take a picture. I want him to take a picture right in front of Arrowhead with that shirt on. If he can risk his life like that, I don't. Arrowhead's pretty safe. Yeah,
it's
Arrowhead's
safe, but it's safe, but like they passionate though.
Yeah, they are. But I'm over them because they're disrespectful too. Yeah, so I would love to see, and I will post that on this show. I will have that on the show. I will on the Bucs Report website. I will make sure that we show you wearing that shirt in front of Arrowhead if you would be so inclined to do so. So I'm going to reach out to him and just let him know. But yeah, that's our first winner, Beer 30, Crazy Blue fan, living in Kansas City. He's a Bucs fan. That's really exciting right there. And our second winner is Stephen Parks.
Woo!
Stephen Parks. And you can follow Stephen on Twitter at FF League Winners. And, he's my guy. I mean, he's got the hashtag Rojo season. You can't go wrong with that. And you see those kind of things. So I love this dude. Yeah. So there we go. Doug was okay. Just lost focus and went to strip clubs too much. Plus, the Plus comedy tour is coming to a town near you, baby.
Well, I mean, think about it. We had Josh Freeman as our quarterback with all of his late night Taco Bell and all of his personal issues. You had Doug Martin with his issues. Then you had the wide receiver Mike Williams, the Bucs version of Mike Williams and his crazy antics. Those were your stars, man. For a period. I know, right? They all had issues.
So, but I think that's always been a theme since Tampa. Tampa's like mini Sin City, though.
Aqib Talib was still that same time period.
Because I can remember my uncle would tell me stories about how he would go to the game in the 80s. He would go.
Did you read Michael Plus's recent comment?
No, what did he say?
He said, I got his autograph at a strip club. Doug Martin, that is. I'm sorry. I started tearing up. I had to say it.
Is this a true story?
It's gotta be.
Holy Christ. So no wonder. So that's what he meant by this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. Here we go. The Cowboys would be a fun game to open up against.
I think they're going to go Bills. That'd be my Bills or Saints. I think is what I think would be idiotic to go for the Saints for the third or fourth year in a row, opening the year with the Saints.
Who that?
Yeah, we that bitches.
Bitch, get fucked.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
there's that.
I think Bills would be fun.
Yeah, the Bills.
Bills Mafia.
I love the Bills Mafia. I want to see
Allen coming off a big season.
I want to see him jump through some tables. I want to see somebody get slammed through a table. That's why I said I would hang out with them because they're just wild.
Yeah, no, and they're fun though, and I mean they're also. I mean, I don't know if all of them are respectful.
Kareem Huggins. He brought up Kareem Huggins. I forgot. Oh my God.
I would have known Kareem Huggins existed if it wasn't for Madden. When I don't even know he played for the Bucs. I thought he was a guy I'd find on free agents whenever I would play franchise mode.
Yeah, when your guy gets hurt and you're going down the free agent mode.
He's like, 64 overall.
He's like a 46 down here because everybody else is. the only guy that you can afford on your franchise?
Because you did a Rams model and went out and traded all your draft picks for the next 3 years for Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Or back then it would have been for Mike Vick. Like, let's
freaking said Kareem Huggins. Oh my God. This is too fun right here. I'm serious. I mean, they're digging up names. They're just like digging up all these names from the past that I just totally forgot about. Let me see if there are any other obscure names out here that we may have.
Yeah, while you do that, plus point, I forgot Kellen Winslow was on those terrible those substance abuse teams.
Yeah, he was
like,
a soldier. He was
oh my God,
busy being a soldier or something or whatever he was doing. Yeah, I remember him in that offensive pass interference. I still ain't.
It wasn't, but
yeah.
whatever.
He brings up Kenny Bell.
Kenny, remember when Kenny? I mean, my in-laws are all Nebraskan, so that's a big one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So Bobby Rainey, he was legit. Oh yeah, and then he brings up McMuffin. McMuffin didn't. Jeremy McNichols. McMuffin. He's over in Tennessee now.
Doing decent. He's got a role. I mean, he's not good.
Yeah, he's got a role. Yeah.
I hate JBF. I think you know which outlet I'm referring to. I'm not going to say it. I love their nickname for him though. Snoop Dogg Nick Playbook. I don't know. I love that nickname because he plays in Snoop's league and he's friends with. Snoop. I just went with McMuffin. But yeah, he's playing over there. Like you said, he's got a role in Tennessee. He's doing his thing. So, shout out to him for making it happen. Yeah, he gives Derrick Henry his Gatorade and lets him get a breath on third down every other series.
There you go. Exactly. But, it just really shows you how lean the years were when you think about some of the players that have rolled through the
Mike James. Oh my God.
James. Oh yeah. Mike James. I forgot about that. Tequan Underwood with the good hair.
Oh my God. Greg Schiano, great.
So BJ Askew.
Oh, BJ.
I forgot about him. Okay, I'm going to ask you, in your time watching the Bucs, who was that one player that just gave you fits, that just made you see red and just gave you a headache?
E.J. Biggers. Because I used to have to purge the entire quarterback room of the Bucs whenever I played Madden. And I just remember he'd be the number one guy. I would just be like, you're off the roster.
For me, I've got two. I've got EJ Biggers was my first one. We always saw every time you would turn on ESPN, you saw his jersey for all the wrong reasons because he's chasing down some wide receiver that just burned him. So you always saw EJ Biggers on a just a commercial, or not a commercial, but the clips of the Bucs playing another team. You'd always see him. My other guy was O'Neal Cousins, the turnstile.
Didn't he give up like 5 sacks to Claiborne?
He just, Oh,
wait, no, he was the guard. I'm thinking of the tackle that we got, Goster Shearless. That's who I was thinking.
Shearless.
Yeah, O'Neal Cousins was. Remember they tried to tell us that like O'Neal Cousins was good and should be starting.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? You could find someone on the street.
Dub said Cody Grimm.
Cody Grimm. Oh, remember he had so much potential. He was supposed to be like the next white, like John Lynch.
No, that was Sabby the Toast.
Piscatelli.
Yeah, Sabby the Toast. And let's see. Chris Conti, of course, Chris Conti. Yeah, Amazement 717 was talking about Sabby. Let's see, what was the linebacker's name? Barrett Rude.
Rude. Another Nebraska bus. I mean, he did okay for the Bucs.
He did okay. He got tackled. Yeah.
He was like the only guy to cheer for on the defense for a while there.
Yeah, because he was getting tackles for all the wrong reasons.
And his name was fun.
Yeah, you heard Rude. We thought everybody was booing him, but they were saying Rude. I remember those days. Yeah. Gruden Allen drafts were terrible.
Oh, Gene will tell you. Gene will tell you.
Oh my goodness. Mason Foster. Now Mason Foster was decent.
I remember the pick 6 against Drew Brees. That's what I'll always remember him for.
Yeah. And
but he was slow and not good.
Yeah. And that's when Levante David came in and pretty much that was the start of the legend of Levante David. So, but Mason Foster was always nice. I mean, he was a very nice, very, very classy individual. I've always liked him.
Quincy Black.
No, Akeem Spence.
Akeem Spence. Second round pick, Akeem Spence.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. There you go. That hurts.
Didn't we trade him for the kicker that we got from the Lions that kicked for us for like 3 games? We got like a 7th round pick, and they got like Akeem Hicks or something like that, or Spence. I mean,
yeah. That's
my God,
Carl Hicks. Then who Mercer destroyed his career.
Mark Barron. Yeah.
Is he even still in the NFL?
I'm not sure. I know 2 years ago he played for the Steelers as an inside linebacker, but
yeah, I remember that. I
don't know he played. Maybe I think he played for the Broncos this year or someone like that.
Brian Price. Oh my God, there's another. This is getting depressing.
He's more modern, I guess, but what's Noah Spence up to?
I don't know.
Who the fuck is he playing for?
I don't know. I think somebody's playing. He's playing for somebody. Plus you got a great point there. Best picks by Gruden was David Joseph, Tenard Jackson, and Aqib Talib. Spot on.
But we didn't get Aqib Talib's best years though. We didn't get any of them.
No, we didn't. Well, I don't know. That 2010 season.
Okay, yeah. Now that you say it, he was like semi up for defensive player of the year. I think that way. He had like 6 or 7 interceptions or something stupid.
Yeah, something like that. Myron Lewis. Isn't Myron Lewis like a brain surgeon or something now?
Probably. I think so.
I think Myron Lewis is like a brain surgeon now.
Guess who Noah Spence plays for?
Who? New Orleans? Him. Well, do you think they keep Quan? Oh,
no,
Myron.
No way.
Sorry, that's Myron Roll. I'm thinking Myron
Roll. That's a good
sorry.
one.
I'm thinking. I apologize to Myron Lewis. My bad. It was somewhere else. But I got it. I got the first name right.
That's crazy. Gaines Adams. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah, there you go. Again, that just shows you the talent evaluation that our general manager and head coach had at that time. And, it is what it is.
Holy moly.
And he said, Michael Clayton. Yeah, if we look at Michael Clayton's rookie season, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a stud.
Yeah, and then he became the stone-handed devil, and it never changed. So, again, that's just crazy. That's why I hate the word potential when you talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because everybody has played in Tampa had potential. Everybody that came through had potential, and it's crazy.
Can I say Tampa Bay great Bo Jackson?
Ooh, that's a painful right there. That's real painful.
Imagine a player coming out and saying, "I will not play for you if you draft me," and then I proceed to draft them.
Yeah, but Hugh Culverhouse is a scumbag, though. If I can speak ill of the dead, he's one ill person I would speak ill of. That guy.
I'm just saying. I mean, he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, he should have.
So was Steve Young. Tampa Bay great Steve Young.
But they messed up. Tampa messed up his career, Bo Jackson's career.
Oh yeah.
They totally blew his stuff up. So again, I understand the animosity there. So
shout out to my father. My father currently lives like right near where Vinny Testaverde used to live. I remember driving by his house when I was younger. Shit was a mansion. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I remember he had a scooter, and I always wanted a scooter after I saw Vinny with a scooter. I felt like that was my mission from God to have a scooter. Those were the days.
My God.
But anyway, enough about reminiscing. I want to take this time to shout out Bucs Report. Thank you, Bucs Report, for all you do. Michael Pless from Real Bucs Talk. Check him out. The usual suspects from that, come in and hit the chat up and we talk. Amazement 717, longtime listener, Frank G. Dub. Let's see, Bud Cannabliss. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Nestor Cervantes.
I'm hoping so too.
Andy Finley. I mean, the list goes on and on. This was really fun because I actually got to go through the chat and, chop it up with some of you guys, and I appreciate that. This show would not be fun if we didn't have interaction in the chat. So I appreciate you guys. And you guys have thrown some names out there. Oh my God.
Delger. That's the last one I saw that made me just
said McCown, Bruce Gradkowski, Sims, Josh Johnson, Mike Glennon. Ooh. Bruce Gradkowski was the one that really made me mad because Gruden really tried to hype him up like he was going to, lead this team to the playoffs.
Well, speaking of hype, what about Sean King, man? I thought he was going to be the next savior.
Yeah. But again, Sean King's situation was very similar to Jameis Winston, where because Brad Johnson came available, they kind of went with Brad Johnson over Sean King. That was a guy that came in and he was a little bit more consistent, and they used him for what they used him for. And I don't think Sean King ever genuinely rebounded from that. But ultimately, I'll have to say it worked out better this way because, the Bucs did go to the Super Bowl. Sean King did get them to an
NFC championship.
Yes, NFC championship. So I don't know. It's one of those things that, the way it worked out, you still have two Super Bowls here in Tampa. And this year, Tampa is the Super Bowl champion. So we can all enjoy that.
It just makes it's like once you win, it's like you just reminisce over all those terrible times and you look better on it.
And I want to ask you this question before we roll out.
Let's do it.
If you had a choice, would you have a team like the New Orleans Saints where you win one Super Bowl, you go to the playoffs and lose all the time, or would you have a season of sadness and darkness and dark times, and then boom, all of a sudden you go to a Super Bowl and you have two Super Bowls in your trophy, but you have very few NFC championship shirts, titles, trophies?
I think it's a harder question what people make it out to be, because I think a lot of people will just take the Super Bowl, and don't get me wrong, that's probably going to be my answer. But when you take 20 years of losing to 1 year of going out of nowhere and kind of winning, I mean, that's kind of as a fan, 20 years of losing is a lot, man.
Yeah,
that shit weighs on you. But only because of this experience have I just been fuck it, nothing that happened circa 2000.
So I want to ask you this then: when the Bucs won, when all the confetti dropped, did you think at any minute did you think about all the losing seasons the Bucs have had?
Hell to the fuck no. Nope.
Exactly. It all washed it all away, didn't it?
Yep.
That's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt. The Bucs went out and won games in the playoffs, won the NFC championship. Then they go and win the Super Bowl. That makes up, and the way they won it, it wasn't like they went out and they had home games and they had all these cupcake teams that they had to face. They went out and beat every team that was supposed to beat them.
Yep.
All the way to the Super Bowl. So that's just legendary. And then the fact that you win in Tampa, on top of that,
no one can take it from us, man.
Nobody can. And like Mike says, winning is the cure. So basically, you totally wiped out all those losing seasons, because now we can look back on those and laugh about it. Because you got two trophies, over one buck. So now, when you talk about Sammy Stroher or Savvy Piscatelli or, some of these other guys, EJ Biggers, we can laugh about that stuff now because, here's where we are.
You remember my red face rants on Byron Leftwich during this season?
Exactly.
Byron Leftwich, my best friend now.
That's the homie right there, man. He's a friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Get him on, Gene. Let's reach out.
Yeah, we're not going to launch him into the sun anymore. He's the guy right there.
I'll tell him I went to Marshall and we have a Marshall themed podcast or something to get him on.
Dude, yeah, it was just an amazing run. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Are you the same way?
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, because as soon as the Bucs won that game, every single frustration that I've had with the Bucs over the past since decade and a half is gone. It's like just like washed away. It's like gone.
And it translates to the rest of your life, man. Like when I work,
do.
like I don't have to like you saw me. I brought the mouth guard onto this podcast. I still have it, and I'm probably gonna like put it in a Ziploc and like frame it and write, Bucs Super Bowl mouth guard, and I'll buy another one next year because like my nerves. I'm just more relaxed, just like everyday life, Yeah.
Because I don't think you really got to enjoy the Super Bowl experience the last time. And for me, I'm doubly fortunate because I've gotten to enjoy two of them. So
and I get to tell my future kids, hey man, Tom Brady came in here after a historic career, probably two separate, Hall of Fame worthy careers in his tenure.
And he was totally written off.
Totally written off. Could you believe, son, daughter, that Tom Brady was told that he couldn't do anything anymore? Yeah. After he was already told when he was 20 years younger that he wasn't able to do it.
That's right.
Did it for the most losingest franchise in all of professional sports history.
Yep.
You can do anything.
That's right. And Jason Light went to Labor Ready and saw him standing there. And he's like, hey, I got a spot for you. I'm making this story better than what it was. And then, even Oprah said that he couldn't do anything. And, he just, he was on his way out. And then just Jason Light lifted him up, brought him in, and, cleaned him up. And the rest is history. That's the legend. That's the legend of Tom Brady in Tampa.
And that's just crazy. And I love, did you see during the parade that all the players were wearing his picture from him in the draft where he's, all like skinny, fat, and like this.
Exactly.
Closing. Like, y'all, we can do anything, man. If the Bucs can win the Super Bowl and Tom Brady can go to 10 Super Bowls and win 7 of them, we can do anything.
And win at home. Win
at home.
That right there, just
in a COVID season.
Yeah.
COVID. The whole fucking country is shut down for a year. We're approaching the year mark. I think it's March 12th or something like that.
Yep. Because that's when I've been working from home since then.
We're about to approach the 1 year mark, and God bless the NFL. Thank you for somehow rolling out the season.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done without the NFL.
Yep. So, guys, we've got a lot of exciting stuff this year, this offseason. Hall of Fame is coming up. And my man here, KB, has
graciously, I have the easy one. Though.
Is going to give his speech for Rondé Barber. And me, I'm going to do mine for Simeon Rice. Because both of these players should have been in the Hall of Fame by now. And I do not understand why. I do understand why.
No, I don't understand why.
I do.
Well, because they're dumb old people, but we get to that a different time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. So that's something to look forward to. Next week, we will be giving away a free T-shirt. I don't know if you've seen the T-shirt. The most iconic. Somebody said it was infamous. It was infamous that Antoine Winfield Jr. gave the most. I call it iconic. Some people say infamous, but to me it was iconic. It was a point in time in the Super Bowl where a man that had gotten run down, he overcame all that. He came back and was successful. I mean, there were so many sub stories within that Super Bowl that we can talk about. Is just incredible. I want all you guys out there to put 2 fingers up in honor of this Super Bowl victory.
And it's the picture's worth 1,000 words. There's so much context going on in that one snapshot. There's week 12. There's Tyreek Hill doing front and back flips into the end zone, doing his peace sign, not getting fined for it, by the way.
Yeah.
And Antoine Winfield does it, and it's not even the last series of the game, but it was just the encapsulation of We
Yeah.
fucking did it. We did it.
That's
I'm
right.
a rookie, and I'm not taking your shit.
Exactly. Yeah, you've been shut down. Peace out. We're Super Bowl champions. Peace out. And that's just what it is right there. So, I mean, all you guys, I mean, if that doesn't inspire you to do great things, I don't know what will. But anyway, again, I want to shout out Bucs Report. KB, thank you so much. I mean, we're going to continue doing this. We're going to have some fun with this. We're going to give away, like I said, that iconic T-shirt. Some may say infamous if you're in Kansas City. Others may say iconic the rest of the world. But again, we're going to do that. Smack Apparel has been wonderful. Robbie over at Smack Apparel is awesome. Just everything that's gone on, I love it. And, you know, you guys keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, who knows? You know, you guys, somebody calls in next week, you can get a chance to win that shirt. So, again, thank you so much for taking time to spend with us and hang out and reminisce about some of these players. Is just incredible. Oh, look at Pless. Pless is dropping knowledge. Best pass rusher I've seen live. Unreal what he could do. How he was like he just could bend. The way he would bend his body going around an offensive lineman was incredible. And the one thing that just frustrates me, and I have to go on this tangent again, Simeon Rice was ranked number 2. He was the number 2 leading sack person in Arizona when he left to come to Tampa. So he was already playing at a high level. So I don't want to hear that Simeon Rice only got good when he got to Tampa. That's bullshit. He was good before he got to Tampa, and he got even better once he got here. So I'm not trying to hear that. I think that's a BS argument. But again, we'll save that for another time because that will be part of my speech, my presentation, as to why I believe Simeon Rice should be in the Hall of Fame.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, guys, we are out of here. And thank you again. We'll be doing this again next week. And I'll talk to you later. Peace out.